on the topic of phishing and spam in general, there's something that we see a lot, especially on the phishing prevention side of things, and that's people using current events to try to trick or scare people into clicking on a link, or following a link, or providing some kind of information. Or
so most of the time it would be something like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, don't forget to pick up your free Starbucks something or other.
Sometimes, and in other times it's things like like right now, as a lot of people know, we're dealing with an issue in the country related to the coronavirus. We've been seeing some emails that, fortunately in this situation, they're getting caught by the anti-spam and anti-phishing engines. But, in our quarantine, I'm finding some emails that basically look like things. It looks like an email that came from the CDC that says, click here, follow this link to get information about, prevention or
there's cures, there's preventions, there are all sorts of stuff. The scammers are out,
and that's not an uncommon uncommon tactic. It's something that they do a lot. They'll use current situations to actually to get people to do things because they're scared about something.
And charities, they'll
charities, and this is something that and it's not just this, it's other, anytime there's any kind of disaster, in the past, we've even used it ourselves when running those white hat, what'd you call them, the
ethical
phishing campaigns. That's right. When running our ethical phishing campaigns for clients, I've used that in the past because we had a hurricane coming. There was a hurricane that was on the way, and it was going to be here in like 2 days. So I basically sent out, I impersonated like the CEO of a company and sent an email that looked like it was something like, click here to get information about the hurricane. And I caught a significant number of users in that company with that kind of phishing campaign. It's a common tactic, and it's something that people fall for because they get worried about things that are going on, and it's just something that as the IT staff, it's something that we need to make sure that our users are aware of. That they should be looking out for these kinds of things, and because it's our job to protect the users. So we need to make sure that they're aware that, be careful about the things that you're looking at, even if it's something that's scary. It's something that you should kind of, be wary anyway. That's basically.
Yeah. So in the 9 red flags to watch out for, to avoid getting phished, urgency language is one of the red flags.
Sure.
So in a time of a disaster where every single person or every single business you've ever done business with is sending you an email right now telling you, hey, here's the steps that we're using to avoid the COVID-19. What is it? COVID-19?
Yeah, COVID-19.
But a lot of them will use urgency. And how do you decipher between a phishing message and one that is legitimate?
Sure.
When everyone is using urgency right now. So with your example, with the hurricane, someone may say, oh, well, that's not fair. There's a hurricane and you're taking it. But this is exactly the time where malicious agents are going out because they know that there are now millions of people cut off from the office who are working from home, who see an urgent email and they're going to click on it.
Right.
So if anything, if you learn anything from this one episode, it's please do not click on the links in your email.
Yeah. Well, unless you definitely know that person that sent you that link.
Yeah, but then you got to go through and you got to verify. You got to know all this stuff.
Got to be safe. Yeah.
So what should you do instead of clicking on the link in the email? Just go to the website yourself in your web browser. Don't copy and paste it.
Sure.
Just type it out manually, and then that way for sure you can know.
And IT staff, folks like myself, who it's my job to make sure people are safe. I need to make sure that I'm on top of things too. I need to make sure that I'm preventing my users from getting that kind of stuff. So I need to make sure I have policies in place that are actually protecting the users and not just letting everything through. So that's why it's kind of comforting to me that I'm seeing these things that I'm seeing mostly in the quarantine, because those things are getting caught. They're being quarantined.
It's working as expected.
Yeah. And, the little mechanism that I have that shows me, spam messages that our users here have reported. So we have a rule in place that basically sends me a notification whenever somebody marks something as spam using the handy little button there in Outlook.
Which, thank God for that, because before people had to manually write to us and attach the they had to attach the actual message and not forward it to us.
They had to forward it as an attachment.
Because we needed that precious message header.
Yep. And that button makes life a lot easier.
It sure does. So use it if you see something spammy, because you're helping out everyone.
Well, so I haven't been seeing anything related to that kind of stuff coming in via that mechanism. Everything's getting caught. So it's good. It's good having important rules in place, or good rules in place.